What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the channel. It is another upload in the Audi R8 V10 Plus. Man, I love this car. I've been enjoying it like crazy the few days that I've actually had it, because we took delivery the day after, dropped it off at the convention center for World of Wheels, and it was sitting there for like 3 days. Yesterday it was raining pretty much all day, so I didn't drive it all that much. But today we're gonna take it out. We're gonna do some proper launch controls and time them. I have my draggy with me and everything. And my goal in today's video is going to be to get a 0 to 60 time under 3 seconds. Audi states that this car does 0 to 60 in 3.2. And I know that for a fact to be true. Now, I weigh 220 pounds. So I think that's gonna be a bit of an issue with weight, with getting the time that I want. I've seen several videos online where people actually managed to get this car to 60 in way under 3 seconds. I've seen 2.6, I've seen 2.8. So I'm just hoping that we'll be able to do it as well. It's a freaking rocket, this thing. Obviously comes into its prime from a standstill because of all-wheel drive and 610 horsepower from the 5.2 liter V10. The Ferrari was definitely faster, you know, as you got up in the speeds because of having more horsepower. This car is lighter. You can tell it's lighter. It handles better than the Ferrari did. And it's also definitely faster to 60 from a standstill because, again, all-wheel drive. So once we've done our little 0 to 60 sessions in today's upload, we are, of course, going to talk about money like we always do on this channel, especially after I've bought a new car. I just try to be transparent and just let you guys know what my financial situation was, you know, when I bought said car. Like in this case, of course, it's with the R8. We're going to talk about the money that I put down on this car, how it's financed, and also the little issues that I had. And I'm not talking only about my tax return issues that, you know, I covered in a previous video, but it was actually harder to get financed for this car, which is cheaper with more money down than it was for the $255,000 Ferrari that I had previously. It was very mind-boggling to me. So we'll cover that in today's video as well, and that might actually help someone out that is looking to get an exotic car loan. So launch control. It is so freaking aggressive when it launches, and it just throws the gears in there. It's nasty. Holy crap. 3.09 seconds. That's actually impressive with wheel spin and my fat ass in the car. I've never experienced launches like this. The Ferrari definitely could not do that because it couldn't put the power down. 2.92, yes! Sweet! Alright, so I kept it in dynamic with traction control off, as you have to do launch control, of course. I'm going to put it in performance, but it only allows me to shift manually, so we'll see how this goes with me shifting on my own. Alright, let's go. Shifted on its own. It kind of ruined it there. I don't know why it did that. I feel like I still don't really know this car. Maybe it does shift on its own when you do launch control. I'm not sure. It does shift on its own. 2.93. I think that was 1/100th of a second slower than our first run. I finally have a car that does 0 to 60 under 3 seconds. That was my goal, and we did it. And I weigh 220 pounds. Can you imagine if I lost some weight? I mean, I could easily and should lose 20 pounds. When I moved to the United States in 2012, I weighed 185. And I was in a lot better shape. Now I'm 220, have less muscle, obviously a lot more fat. So I'm just happy we did get it to 2.92 at one point, and 2.93 I think it was. Now it probably doesn't help that you do like 5 or 6 launch controls in a row. I don't think that's gonna make the car faster the more you go. It's probably the opposite. But like I said, I'm happy with 2.92. And with that being said, we haven't said hi to our buddy Brian in a while. He hasn't seen the car either, so let's go say hello.
Yeah. Tickles your tummy.
I know. It didn't
spring that time.
No. Should have timed it. That's stupid.
Well, I'm kind of fat now too, so it's not helping you.
You're not as fat as I am.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm glad you like it, Brian.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure that had something to do with you buying it.
Of course. Well, we have a cop after us now, so I don't know if I'm about to get pulled over already in the R8. It's taking him some time to light me up, though. If he's going to pull me over, I figured he would do that here pretty soon. Alright, I'm going to turn into a parking spot here, see if he follows me. We made it. Wow. That was close. I thought I was gonna get pulled over. There's like a twisty little road up to where I'm at now, and I wasn't doing anything crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if I hit, you know, speeds over the speed limit. Nothing, again, nothing crazy, but yeah, so I got lucky there. One thing that I don't know, but maybe I'll have issues with is because of this tint. I mean, look at this. I haven't done it, obviously, because I bought the car this way, but that's like limo tint. It's really dark. And even the front windshield is tinted. I think it's probably around 20% on the front windshield. I've never really had dark windows like this. And depending on the police officer that day, you know, that could be something I might get pulled over for. I'm not gonna take it off now until I'm forced to do so. So yeah, I've been enjoying the car today. I drove it a little bit yesterday when it was raining, so it is dirty, but I've noticed that this color actually picks up dirt pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look as nice as it did on delivery day, but it's still not horrible. So we got to meet up with Brian as well. Haven't seen him in a while. He got to experience a launch control also, so that was cool. But let's talk about the subject in today's upload, basically the financial goodies of how I bought the Audi R8 and why I actually had some issues. It was harder to buy this cheaper car with more money down than it was to buy the more expensive Ferrari F12 2 years ago. So we'll jump right into it here. The payment I have on this 2018 Audi R8 is $1,850. It might be $1,857 or something like that, but plus minus a couple bucks, that's what I'm paying on this car. On the Ferrari, I had a $3,500 payment, and I usually paid at least $4,000 every month to get the loan down a bit more. So this is, you know, pretty much half the monthly payment of the Ferrari. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be saying like, well, yeah, but that's because it's half the car, Mike. How could you trade down from a Ferrari to an Audi? And again, I can understand that to a certain extent why people would say that. However, with that being said though, I've gotten great response on this car. You guys seem to love it, as do I. When I bought the Ferrari, that was my ultimate dream supercar. And I went straight for the top right away. Usually, you know, you start a little low, or maybe you get like a 430 or maybe a Lamborghini Gallardo or something, you know, in the $100,000 range. I went straight to the car I really, really wanted. And I've mentioned this before in videos, like I didn't know what was going to be able to replace that car. because I didn't want to pay more money than $250,000. That's kind of where I feel, you know, secure, where I feel like this is something that I can, you know, handle without a problem. I'm not going to take out this big old loan just to have a more expensive car that I don't really want. When I saw this car, I knew that's what I wanted. It's not a perfect replacement for a Ferrari F12, but it's what I wanted, and I absolutely love it. I know I made the right decision. I'm head over heels in love with this car. So when I bought the Ferrari, I had the AMG as a down payment, and my equity in that car was $48,000. That was actually after it was hit. I had a higher trade-in value on the car before I was in an accident a week before I was going to buy it, so my trade-in value dipped by $10,000. Anyhow, so $48,000 in equity for a $252,000 car. That's what the Ferrari cost, and it was my first exotic car loan. What many people might not know is that it's kind of hard to get an exotic car loan, especially when it's the first time, because a bank's going to be like, well, can you handle a loan like this? You've never had a car loan of this magnitude ever, which I hadn't. So I can understand that to a certain point. Now, what I've learned is, you know, if we fast forward a little bit, is that Ferrari Financial, which I was financed through on the F12, they don't really go by the book as much as conventional lenders do. Which is why I eventually got financed on the Ferrari. I mean, obviously credit, you have to have excellent credit, all that stuff. You have to have, you know, the income and all that. Now, I'm a business owner. I have an LLC. It's a sole proprietorship. I'm the only one in the business. And as a business owner, I don't show a lot of income because I can write off a lot of stuff. You know, with my YouTube channel, you know, the cars, the travel, everything that I do to create content is basically a write-off. So what that means is even if I make $260,000 in a year, my profit might be like $30,000-$40,000 because I write so much off. Now, no one really told me about that at that time when I got the loan for the Ferrari, because Ferrari Financial looks at things a little different. Now, when I was going to get this car, you know, initially before I sold the Ferrari, I was going to trade it in on this. So we had numbers to work with. Obviously, I had equity in the Ferrari. And, you know, then there was the issue with my tax return because they wanted proof of income. And my 2019 tax return wasn't finished yet. Now it is, and everything is good. But at the time, it wasn't. So they were like, we need the tax return. So I was like, okay. Now, in the meantime, I sold the Ferrari. So I actually had a bit more money to put down on this car. So when my tax returns were finished, they were still telling me no for the money that I wanted to put down on the car, which was $30,000. And I'm like, no. What do you mean no? They're like, you're not showing enough personal income. And I'm like, what? Of course I'm not. I'm a business owner. I don't want to show a lot of income. That just means I'll pay more in tax. I have a lot of write-offs, and that's just how I do things. That's how I run my business. And they were like, yeah, but that doesn't work. You're going to have to put more money down then for us to approve you for a loan. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. I borrowed $222,000 on the Ferrari. With this car, I'm borrowing now like $118,000. And I was like, how does that work? And basically what it comes down to is traditional lenders, they don't like business owners. They just don't. They want W-2 earners that make a lot of money if you're going to finance a lot of money. Because then the bank feels safe and so on. I think it was around 2012, to my knowledge, 2012, 2013, where this changed. A business owner could back then use their Schedule C, which is basically the business income, which in my case for 2019 showed $257,000. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be financed easily, but it doesn't work that way. I've now learned they don't like the Schedule C. They like the 1040, basically your profit and your taxable income, which in my case is extremely low because that's how I want it, because that means I don't pay a lot in taxes. Since I'm no longer financed through Ferrari Financial, I'm financed through another lender, things had changed. So if we fast forward, I put $45,000 down on this car, and the lender that I'm currently financed through, they want first month's payment, last month's payment up front, and you know, all the fees and taxes and stuff like that. So all in all, I had $55,000 down at signing for this car, which is less than it was for the Ferrari. I'm financing a whole lot less as well. So even if I had my eyes on a more expensive car that wasn't a Ferrari and I couldn't be financed through Ferrari Financial, I probably wouldn't have been approved. So I'm lucky that this is the car that I fell in love with. The first time I saw it, I was like, this is the one I gotta have. And with my financial situation, where I'm completely fine with paying maybe $5,000 a month for a car, I wouldn't have been able to do that unless it's for a Ferrari through Ferrari Financial, because they do things a little different. So here I am with an Audi R8 V10 Plus in solar orange, the car that I wanted, but it was actually harder to get financed for this car than it was for the $252,000 Ferrari that I financed. So here I am, I have less than half the payment that I had on the Ferrari, and it's the car that I want. I absolutely love it, and I'm happy. And that's what matters. I think everything works out for the best in the end. And right now with this car, I mean, I couldn't be in a better position. It's absolutely awesome. I've said before, I wish I could have kept the Ferrari and then have this as well, but that wouldn't have worked out. I know now in hindsight with how banks actually look at things. So if you're looking at buying your first exotic and you're a business owner, kind of like me, maybe you're a one-man operation, your business generates a lot of money, but you don't pay yourself a big salary or anything like that. You have a lot of write-offs within your business, so you don't show a big income. It's going to be hard for you to get a car like this unless you have a significant amount of money down. The car was, I paid $163,000 for the car. I put $55,000 down. I'm financing around, I don't know, I think it was like 118, 111, something like that. My math is horrible. That's what I'm capable of doing right now with the way I earn money. I didn't know that back then when I was getting the Ferrari, because again, Ferrari Financial, they seem to look at things a bit different. They're out of the box. They're also cool because it doesn't show up on your credit. The lender I'm financed through with this car is the same way. It doesn't show up on my credit, but they think of things a bit more traditionally than Ferrari Financial. So again, in hindsight, it's a win-win situation for me. My payment is less. I have the car that I want. I'm absolutely in love with it. I'm in a better financial position. It's just crazy. So yeah, for those people that think I can't afford more than this, you're partially right. I can't. In the bank's eyes, they won't give me a loan because of the income that I'm showing on my tax return. If they were going by my business income, I could have gotten a much more expensive car than this and been completely fine as well. Now, again, everything worked out for the best. I wasn't interested in buying a $300,000 car at this point. I wanted this car, and that was technically the price range that I could get financed in. It's crazy, but here we are. That's the money video for the Audi R8 V10 Plus. I hope that can be some kind of enlightenment for people that might be in the somewhat same situation as I am, whether you're a YouTuber or not, but you're a business owner and you want to get your first exotic. If you're not a business owner, you better be an employee with a good job that makes a lot of money, unless you have massive amounts of money to put down on the car. If you're looking at not putting any money down and finance the whole amount, yeah, you better be showing at least $300,000 a year in W-2 income. That's just what I've learned from this whole experience. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I like doing them because it seems like you guys enjoy this type of content, knowing the numbers, knowing the ins and out of buying a car like this, or even when I did it with my Ford F-150, you guys seem to have loved it. I'm new to the exotic car. I wouldn't really call this an exotic because it's an Audi, but the supercar game and buying cars in higher price ranges, you know, way over $100,000. So I'm still learning as well. It's funny that I learned the biggest lesson on buying my second supercar, which was cheaper than my first one. It's just very weird, but that's the way it is. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. If you guys are stopping by for the first time and you haven't already and you want to, please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.